Hey everyone, welcome to Encore, and this is the second part of the video. See, I told you guys it's going to be in two parts, but this time we're going to learn how to make these wells to fit the pants. So keep watching. Hey everyone, it's Corin, and you're watching Encore Makeup. Blend, blend, blend.
Hi, Corin, stop using my lipstick.
Okay, so while the decoupage is drying, we're going to start making our trays. So these are the foam sheets that I got from Michael's, which is Kraft store. And they come in different colors, but I think I'm going to use the pink and the black for this project. And I cut out the pink right here to the exact size of the inner part of the shell, and that measured about 7 3/4 by 4 1/4. So I cut that out, and I also did a little bit of math. So basically I just wanted to make a grid of equal size squares. So for this measurement I ended up with 5 across and 3 down, so that's 15 squares. Alright, so this is kind of like up to you now at this point where you want to place this, but for this project I decided to just draw the squares, even size squares, and just kind of like laid it out in here. And I also allowed about half an inch on the top right here because I wanted to be able to write something right here. So I have 15 squares right here, and I already marked them with kind of like a blue pencil so I can see it. So there you go, so you can see it's got even squares. And the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and draw some more lines that's going to cut across diagonally on each of these squares. Okay, just like that, and I'm going to follow that all the way down. Okay, so now that I've drawn the diagonal lines, I'm going to do the same exact thing on this side. Okay, so now that I've finished the diagonal lines, you should end up with a lattice pattern much like this. So we're going to go back to each of the squares, and where the diagonal lines meet in the center is the center of the square. So this is the reason why we need to line this, so that way you have even spacing in your circles when you cut the circles. And the only way that you can find the center of each circle is doing these diagonal lines. So now we're ready to cut the circle. To cut the circle, I found this amazing tool in the drafting section of the Arts and Crafts store, and it's called the compass cutter. And you can adjust the diameter of the circle that you're cutting from like 1 centimeter all the way to 15 centimeter. Okay, and that's about half an inch to about 7.5 inches. Alright, and it's basically much like a compass. You adjust this and you basically just rotate it. And most compass cutters comes with a base just like this, and this is what you put underneath: paper, craft board, foam boards, or craft foam. Alright, and what you're going to need to do is you're going to find the center of your first square, and with your compass you're going to basically just kind of nestle the needle point right into that center, and the other part is a blade. Okay, so make sure that your fingers are out of the way, and all you need to do is twist this around a couple of times depending on what you're cutting, but because we're cutting a foam sheet, it's a little thicker, but if you're cutting just paper, it should only take once. So it usually takes about 2 or 3 turns, okay? And then what's going to happen is now this part's going to just easily come out. There's your base, and now you have perfectly cut circle right there. Alright, so we're going to do the same exact thing all the way around and on all the squares. So once you finish cutting out the circles, you're going to need to make 2 of them, alright? And then what you're going to need to do is you're going to need to adhere these 2 together so that it makes a thicker foam, alright? And this is the perfect size for what we're doing today, okay? Some of these foam sheets comes thicker, but the thicker one is too thick. So what's perfect is actually this size, and then just double it up, alright, by just gluing them together. Okay, so once you glue the 2 sheets together, alright, just kind of like adjust the circles as needed. Sometimes you'll get kind of like an offset, and you just need to slice that off using your X-Acto knife. Just get it as perfect as you can. It doesn't have to be completely perfect, as long as the top part right here looks nice. And then when you make one, you're going to need a second one because there are 2 flaps, okay, on your shell. So there's going to be a tray here and a tray here. And for my second one, I decided to go for a black one. So that way there's a nice contrast between the 2 colors, and I think it's going to look pretty. Okay, so next step, you're going to need your PPA again, or any glue of your choosing really, and all you need to do is basically glue this right into the trace. Alright, make sure it's nice and flat. Alright, just like that, and then you're ready to fill them. Okay, so once the glue's dry and your trays are in place, you're ready to fill. Now for this palette, I have chosen to use some panned lipsticks that I've melted into pans. And if you haven't seen my video on melting lipsticks into pans, make sure to watch that. I'll include the link to the video in the more info section. And these are all MAC lipsticks. So like for instance, this one's Fashionably Fuchsia. And there's also MAC Red. Now I also have some limited edition lipsticks here that doesn't exist anymore, like this one is Bare Venus. Alright, so anyway, the key is we're not going to be using any magnets because they are hard to find, okay? But you can use these removable glue dots that you can buy from your craft stores. Make sure that it says removable, okay? That's key because you can easily just pop it out if you need to replace the color. So we're going to start filling in our palette. So I arranged the colors chromatically and schematically. You can pretty much arrange this any way you want, okay? If you want to mix up the color, that's fine. I tend to like starting with the nudes, then the pinks, then the reds, then the darks. Okay, and then from light to dark. So you can see light to dark, and so on and so forth. So I'm just going to start with my first color in here. And I love the contrast between the black and the pink, because what's going to happen is that the nudes and the pinks are going to go over the black trace, so that's going to make it pop. And then the reds and the darks are going to go in this pink tray right here. So that's going to give it a little bit more of a visual effect as well. So I'm going to start with the lightest that I have picked, and this is Myth from MAC. So basically, so you can see, there you go, Myth. Alright, so basically you just apply the glue dots to the back. Now you can also find the glue dots in sheet form, okay? But this one happens to be in a roller, which I like. So you basically just roll it and then stick onto the palette. I'll move this closer. Alright, and then put a little pressure on the edge of the pan so that it sinks right into the well and sticks to the backboard. Just like that. Beautiful. Okay, and then I'm moving on to the second color. The same exact way. And this is MAC Plink. Once again, you just roll, okay, until you get the glue dot. See the glue dot right there? And then just press that right into your well. Okay, just make sure you're just pressing the edges. Put a little pressure down. Okay, until it's plushed against the well. And there you go. See how beautiful that is? Alright, so this is what it looks like all completely filled out. Love the contrast. Look at the nudes and the pinks over black, and then the reds and the darks over the pink. And like I said earlier, you can pretty much put eyeshadows in this, pan eyeshadows, or you can do lipsticks, much like this one. And then up here where I have space, you can pretty much write anything you want. You know, you can kind of label it, you know, the brand, if it's MAC or whatever. But for me, what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to autograph this using my Sharpie. So, because a lucky winner is going to receive this. So, I'm going to have a contest to give this palette away. Yes! So if you're a subscriber, make sure to watch my next video because somebody's going to win this palette. Yes, it's all MAC lipstick and I made it. It's Hello Kitty, latched, it's autographed, and it's going to be going to a lucky winner. So there you go. That's how you make a Hello Kitty palette. Thank you so much for joining me. Until next time, I'll see you guys soon. Bye!